Göbekli Tepe, brother, if there is such a thing as an ancient conspiracy theory, it's this.
Dating more than 11,500 years ago.
For decades, archaeologists have puzzled over a temple that shouldn't exist. Built 7,000 years before the pyramids, Göbekli Tepe stands as a precision-engineered mystery, created by people with no metal, no writing, no wheels, and no farms. In 2025, new 3D scans of the surrounding quarries promised long-awaited answers. But instead of solving the riddle, they revealed something stranger, techniques more advanced than anyone expected, and a timeline that doesn't add up. So, let's take a closer look at the monument that's forcing scientists to rewrite the story of civilization itself. A monument that shouldn't exist. Perched on a hilltop in southeastern Turkey, Göbekli Tepe looks nothing like the beginning of civilization. There are no homes, no streets, no traces of everyday life, just towering T-shaped pillars arranged in massive stone circles, carved with reliefs of lions, snakes, and vultures in stunning anatomical detail. According to radiocarbon dating, these structures were built around 9,600 before the Common Era, before the invention of pottery, agriculture, or even permanent settlements. That's over 6,000 years older than Stonehenge, older than the wheel, older than history as we know it. When German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt began excavating the site in 1995, he realized something extraordinary. These weren't crude slabs dragged into place. They were sculpted monoliths up to 18 feet tall, some weighing as much as 50 tons, each placed with remarkable precision. Some even feature carved arms and clasped hands, suggesting the pillars weren't just stones. They were stylized human figures, part of a belief system or symbolic architecture far more complex than anything previously associated with nomadic hunter-gatherers. And yet, this entire structure was buried intentionally around 8,000 before the Common Era. Whoever covered it did so carefully, sealing it under tons of fill material, preserving it like a time capsule. It's as if they knew future eyes would find it. But if Göbekli Tepe wasn't built by primitive tribes just learning to farm, then who carved these stones? Who planned the design? And why does it feel like they were trying to hide something, not leave it behind? Engineering without engineers. In 2025, a team of German and Turkish researchers returned to Göbekli Tepe with tools of their own, only this time they weren't made of stone. Armed with high-resolution 3D laser scanners and ground-penetrating radar, they mapped the limestone quarries that surround the site within a 2-kilometer radius. What they found there didn't just deepen the mystery, it reframed it entirely. Scattered across the landscape were over 350 extraction points, some with pillars still partially attached to the bedrock. One of them, designated QP-47, remains frozen mid-carve, still anchored at its base. It's 70% complete and estimated to weigh 65 tons, making it the heaviest pillar discovered to date. But the real revelation came when researchers examined the tool marks. Under microscopic analysis, they identified 3 distinct techniques. The first matched expectations, pounding with hard stone mauls, a method known as pecking, well documented at other prehistoric sites. But the second technique startled them. Along the edges of several half-freed pillars were ultra-precise linear cuts, some only 2 to 3 millimeters wide, running in perfectly straight lines for over a meter. The deviation from true straightness was less than 1 millimeter. According to Dr. Jens Notroff, one of the lead researchers, that level of accuracy exceeds what's expected from crude stone tools. Then came the third anomaly, thermal shock fracturing. Researchers found evidence of fire damage and discoloration near extraction points, with limestone heated to 400 and 600 degrees Celsius, then rapidly cooled to induce controlled fractures. That method isn't primitive, it's strategic. And yet, nowhere at the site is there evidence of failure. No discarded pillars, no broken attempts, no rough prototypes. From the very first cuts, the builders worked with confident precision, as if this knowledge didn't evolve, it was inherited. Transport without damage. Identifying how the pillars were carved was one thing. Understanding how they were moved was another entirely. The nearest quarry lies about 100 meters from the main site, but others stretch nearly 2 kilometers across uneven terrain. That might not seem far until you consider the scale. Some of these pillars weigh 20 to 50 tons, and unlike raw stone blocks, they aren't uniform. They're carved sculptures with delicate reliefs rising several centimeters from the surface, vulnerable to cracking, scraping, and pressure. And yet, these carvings remain almost entirely undamaged. Researchers proposed a familiar theory: sledges, plant fiber ropes, wooden rollers, and sheer human effort. Experimental archaeology has shown that teams of 300 to 400 modern volunteers can move large stones short distances this way. But those experiments used roughly shaped blocks, not elaborately carved pillars balanced awkwardly on their sides. Dragging them across uneven stone paths would likely have scraped away the intricate carvings, especially the ones on the sides that would have taken the brunt of the impact. The enigma grows when you realize these people didn't have metal tools or wheels. Modern stone movers rely on padded cradles, cranes, and GPS-aligned supports to preserve surface detail. At Göbekli Tepe, we see none of that. No lifting equipment, no infrastructure, no anchoring systems or ramps left behind. Even more curious is what we don't find: living quarters, storage areas, or evidence of food production. If hundreds of people worked here for years, where did they sleep? What did they eat? Excavations show no signs of villages nearby, no granaries or hearths, nothing that could sustain a full-time labor force over decades. That silence is deafening. It implies either a level of organization we haven't detected, or something even more radical, that the builders came from somewhere else entirely. Buried knowledge and vanishing skill. For years, archaeologists assumed the pillars and enclosures at Göbekli Tepe were built simultaneously. But the 2025 research introduced an unexpected twist. By analyzing weathering patterns, oxidation levels, and tool mark erosion in the surrounding quarries, researchers realized that some extraction sites may predate the main temple structures by several centuries. That raises an unsettling possibility. The pillars might have existed before the temple itself. If true, it suggests a story of inheritance rather than invention. Perhaps later groups repurposed or reassembled older monuments they didn't fully understand. This theory gains strength when you compare craftsmanship across layers of the site. The oldest levels feature the largest, most detailed pillars with the highest artistic quality. As construction continues upward in later enclosures, the workmanship declines. Pillars become smaller, carvings less refined, arrangements less precise. In typical societies, skills improve with time as techniques are refined through trial and error. But here, we see the opposite: excellence giving way to mediocrity. It's a pattern that implies knowledge was lost, not gained. And then, at the height of this mysterious decline, something even stranger happened. Göbekli Tepe was deliberately buried. This wasn't careless collapse or erosion. It was careful preservation, a concerted effort to protect the site from destruction or forgetting. But who buries a sacred temple? Who brings in tons of fill to entomb something built with such care, unless they feared it would be desecrated? Or, perhaps more hauntingly, they knew no one left could rebuild it. Karahan Tepe and the Forgotten Architects. Just 35 kilometers southeast of Göbekli Tepe lies another site that deepens the mystery. Karahan Tepe is part of the same archaeological zone and shares striking architectural features: massive T-shaped pillars, abstract humanoid forms, and intricate animal carvings. But in one crucial way, it's even more baffling. Some of Karahan Tepe's structures weren't assembled from quarried stones. They were carved directly into the bedrock. In 2018, archaeologists uncovered subterranean chambers at Karahan Tepe featuring smooth walls, benches, and even carved installations below ground level. These spaces weren't casual. They show signs of deliberate spatial planning, of architectural choices made, not just for structure, but for experience. Designing such underground enclosures requires more than brute strength. It demands an understanding of weight distribution, long-term stability, and three-dimensional engineering. And this isn't theoretical. These chambers still stand today, shaped over 11,000 years ago with a precision that modern teams struggle to replicate using only period-accurate tools. The implication is profound. Whoever built them had mastered not just carving stone, but shaping space. They weren't just artists or laborers, they were architects. This insight adds weight to an unsettling interpretation. Maybe Göbekli Tepe was not the beginning of civilization, but the inheritance of something older. Karahan Tepe doesn't look like the first attempt at monumental design, it looks like a continuation. And if two sites show this level of sophistication, how many others lie buried, overlooked, or forgotten? Göbekli Tepe was buried, not destroyed, preserved, not forgotten. Its stones still stand beneath the Turkish sun, unbroken, unexplained, and waiting. And perhaps that's the point. History isn't built on certainty, but on fragments we're still learning to read. If this story moved you, share it. If it challenged you, question more. And if it left you curious, there's much more still buried.